Welcome to spoiler talk for Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl, delivered to you in a timely fashion. In case you forget Rob saying that like 6 times during the review.
I felt really bad about that. I'm very good about these things, and
I'm just glad someone listens to them. That's proof, right? That's proof that one person is clicking that button and listening, which is awesome.
it's validation that we're not just spitting in the not spitting in the wind. Is there a phrase for this? I don't know. Anyway, pissing in the wind. There it is.
Sure. It sounds terrible too. Just pissing outside sounds awful. Yeah. So what do you got, man? I'll let you go first. You got to have something on this.
The biggest thing for me was the issue of, because Beatrice is the narrator, before anything happened, we knew she was the one that lived.
Yes.
Now, because there was no way for that to not be the point, like I was able to still enjoy this story. But there is that little snag of like, well, you can't sixth sense your way out of this one. Like, she's the fucking one that eventually got voted for.
Right, I agree. My thought was that maybe for some reason, they would beat it and all of them would get out, or more than one of them would get out, or something. My two biggest issues, and maybe you can clarify this first one for me. As you just mentioned, she lives, for anybody who doesn't know, but she wrote Martha's name. Is it Martha? She said she wrote Martha's name down when she voted.
Yep, I got you covered on this one.
Okay.
You, as well as like all of the kids, apparently overlooked an important part of the keeper's explanation of what was going on, where he said there must be a consensus with one person disagreeing or whatever. He specifically said that.
Oh, so they didn't have, so it wasn't unanimous. It was only one person could dissent.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Because I read that and I was like, what? This is bullshit. So then I was expecting her to be in the hospital and to find out that she was dying anyway and that Martha lived. Do you know what I mean? So I was like waiting for something else to happen at the end.
Right. Okay, here it is. The decision must be unanimous, save one dissenter. So there on page 32. So he cooked it right in, and you probably just like over the course of the book, it kept saying, it had to be unanimous, and so that's why we thought that. But in the beginning, he did say that.
Excellent. But yeah, you're right, and the kids must have forgotten that too, which is great because I'm right there with those kids. My other issue, which is not an understanding thing. I was disappointed by throwing the time travel thing in there.
Did you think it was like a cheap thing, or?
I just think like you already have this story that has this one super crazy fucking thing that happens.
Right.
That giving them another, quote unquote superpower was a bad way to go.
You know who would hate this? Is friend of the podcast Sean Ferguson.
Yeah, that's
why he hated Raw Shark Text, because like there was like you had the exact skill you needed to like get through the thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like I said, I think that she could have written it without.
Right. But like,
other than Beatrice getting to go back and see Jim, it served no other purpose. There was nothing else that couldn't have been done.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that, because like a part of me was thinking I kind of want to see this fucking fucked up huge book that Martha was obsessed with.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because that sounded almost more interesting than the and. I don't mean that in a negative way, because obviously I enjoyed the book, but it sounded like, and it's a long time since we reviewed the Night Film, but I remember that one being very complex.
Sure.
Where like there was an app involved and there was all this other like multimedia kind of approach to like what was going on, and it sounded like this book that was being referenced was like in that kind of realm of complexity and like mystique and stuff. So I was kind of excited to see what was going on there, but like you're right, it was the time travel wasn't necessary.
Yeah, when you were talking about it being contrived, I was like, hold on, let me give you contrivance. It's fucking time travel.
at the same time, like, and this isn't taking a stance on this one way or the other. It was explained that the kind of place that they were stuck in was like a puree of all of their experiences in life, basically, right?
Right.
So, like, their past and present were all kind of mixed together anyway, so it would make sense that they would have kind of more of a tangible reach to things that, us in the real world wouldn't.
No, like I said, I get that. I just it's almost like the rules could have or should have been written so they could all just get out of it alive too. You know what I mean? It just felt like there was a very, I don't know. Again, I was really pleasantly surprised how much I liked the story despite that particular thing. So
here's a thought. Wasn't super in love with the whole like I said before, we know Beatrice is the one that survives. But here's what I think Marisha Pessl did very well. She made it so that by the time Beatrice survives, maybe you don't like her as much as you did before. Like, she made Beatrice not the best, like a less redeemable character than Martha. And so by the time everything resolves, Martha should survive. And even Beatrice knows that Martha should survive. And that's just not what happens. And I think that redeems the fact that we knew Beatrice was going to survive, is that, well, fuck, now we don't want her to. Right.
No, I agree. And I think it was really interesting how all 5 kids played a role in his death.
Right.
Because, throughout it, the focus keeps changing. Beatrice keeps thinking, Kip is acting weird. And I remember this particular instance. I wonder if he had something to do. You know what I mean? So it keeps changing.
Yeah.
And you expect it to land on one. And instead, it's essentially all 5 of them have a hand in it. Martha probably the least, but still.
Like a Rube Goldberg kind of thing.
I mean, that's really all I've got. Man, really enjoyable book.
Yeah, and I'm so tired of, the one thing I'm tired of is how everybody has to just be rich, like in stories. Someone's a billionaire, someone has a wealthy family, like it's just an easy backdrop for, like, giving the plot what it needs, I feel, instead of just, writing a harder story. But, like, there's just everywhere, like TV shows, movies, books, everybody's fucking a billionaire or fucking a billionaire.
We I think we talked a little bit about that during the Hardy Boys. And well, I mean, I think the consensus is that, you want people to want to be the people in your story. Or some people do. So, like, I don't want to be like a strung out heroin addict, but I'd like to be the cool guy with the really nice car and that can vacation wherever he wants. So I'm more likely to like that character, maybe subconsciously. And especially in something like a young adult book, right? They're all, good looking kids and they're smart and they're all at the school. You know what I mean? They're all supposed to be the kids you want to be.
They're all riding motorcycles around.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess for me, it fucking wears on me, the whole like, oh, I have everything, but I have problems too. Fuck you, man. Just I distance myself from that nonsense.
Like your white people problems.
Yeah. Sorry that you couldn't take the Bentley out this weekend to see, to meet whatever fucking celebrity.
I mean, Beatrice, like you said, was poor, and so was another one. Who was it? Was it Martha that was also poor?
Martha was also poor. Yeah, her dad ran like a body shop or something.
Yep. Yeah. So, that's right. She goes to see him at the end. That at the end was a super nice touch, and I will say I may have gotten a little teary-eyed.
What? With the dad specifically, or with her?
With her in general, but I think it was with the dad. When she went to go see Martha's dad, I think is when it really started, like, heaping on. So
that and Martha's story, like, God bless her. Her story was so cool because, like, she was such a non-element in the beginning, like a perceived, like, evil genius in the middle, and then just like the nicest, most beautiful girl at the end. And like everybody, who was it? Jim was saying that, like, one day you're gonna say, I knew Martha, whatever, Ziegler or whatever. And then when she talks to Martha's dad and he's like, talking about how special she was, and it's obvious that, like, that's 100% true. Like, her story was the real story.
Yep, I agree with you.
Yeah, good stuff.
I agree.
I didn't tear up, though.
No, it was all wired really well.
Yeah. Maybe they'll come out in our wrap-ups.
Thank you for listening to another Spoiler Talk. More importantly, thank you for being a Patreon. Let us know if there's anything else we can do. I guess we don't solicit. Let's solicit. Patrons, if there's something else you want to hear us do, patron-only podcast, in general, whatever, hit us up. And again, thanks for helping this podcast happen.
And one final thing I want to mention for anybody who's listening to this as it comes out, Saturday, June 2nd at 8 o'clock Central Time, we will be having our live, you want to call it a mystery holiday episode? You want to make it like a little bit?
Sure, yeah, that's
serious. But join us if you can. Saturday, June 2nd, if you're listening to us before then, at 8 o'clock, we will be doing Facebook Live. So there'll be a lot more information on social medias. But again, thank you, everybody.